You know what? I honestly didn't even want to do this video, or I didn't have an inclination to do this video because when YouTube acts outside of their own established policies, and it negatively affects small YouTubers such as myself who don't have a very large channel at all, you know, in the back of our minds, we don't even count. We don't even matter. You know, we don't have the remedy that these big YouTubers have to where they can go and tag the YouTube team on Twitter, and you know, they got this big community for the big major YouTubers, and they all work together to get their channels back. We don't have that privilege. We don't have that benefit when it comes to being small YouTube creators. So the reason why I'm doing this video is the other day I saw a video by CoryxKenshin. If you're not familiar with CoryxKenshin, get familiar with CoryxKenshin. Very family friendly guy, very big YouTuber, probably one of the top, I want to say top 15 YouTubers that are out there. Good content, family friendly content, right? And so he put up a video the other day stating how YouTube, he actually caught YouTube in violation of their own policy. He caught YouTube enforcing their policy on him, but not enforcing it on other YouTubers. And he called them on this, right? And so when he first called them on this, what they did was they removed the age restriction off of his video. That's what happened. They put an age restriction off of his video. They pulled it off. So his thing was like, no, I don't want y'all to take the age restriction off. If I violated policy, what I wanted for you to do was to put the age restriction on everybody else who was violating that same policy in the same way that I am. So when they removed that age restriction, it caused him to be more concerned, because now he's like, well, wait a minute, is this a racist thing? Are they doing this to me because I'm a so-called black man, or whatever the case may be? You know, and he was doing his best not to think that. So he contacted his YouTube channel manager, which is something else that we don't get as small nobody YouTubers. So he contacted his channel manager, and he made him aware of, you know, what his concerns were, especially when it came to the racial issue. So his manager went back to YouTube, and lo and behold, a few days go by and they put the age restriction back on this video. But now he goes and checks the other guy's video that he used as an example of why there, you know, that strike should be put on all the channels. His was age restricted as well. So it showed him that YouTube wasn't actually enforcing their policies fairly. Now let me take it to my experience. And again, I'm a small YouTuber. I honestly felt like this didn't matter, but I saw Tra Rags, a YouTube comedian, does a lot of dark comedy, but very funny guy. And, you know, he said it don't matter if you a big channel, small channel, you know, put your story out there. So I'm gonna put my story out there. Back in 2013, I started a channel on YouTube. It was called Judason. And, you know, I was just doing regular stuff, walking down the street, you know, telling people about certain stuff I've been studying, my opinions on certain things in the world. And I started noticing that, you know, by 2015, the channel started growing significantly, right? So I'm starting to be more conscious of the content I'm putting out, trying to put out better content, things of this nature. So we get up to 2019, and I have 6,000, almost 7,000 subscribers. My channel is monetized. I'm in a YouTube partner program. I'm able to take donations during my lives. I'm able to put my website link in there so that you can click on the website link, and like I had the whole shebang going. And due to the channel doing, you know, somewhat well to me, making $300 or $400 a month, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and create a company, media company, put it out there TV. So I created, put it out there TV, built a website. I had the YouTube channel created and everything. And I go to my YouTube channel, Judason, where I also was paying $10 a month for YouTube Premium on top of that. So I'm thinking I'm good. I'm like, you know, my channel's in good standing. I'm a YouTube partner making all right money. And I'm also paying for YouTube Premium. You know, my channel's not going anywhere, right? So after the Put It Out There TV is done being put together, the website, the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, the Instagram, the Twitter, and all of that, I go to my Judason channel. I say, hey guys, I just started Put It Out There TV. It's a media company. I'm going to be expanding off into different forms of content. I don't want to be stuck in one form of content, right? I need you guys to follow me on my website, follow the Put It Out There TV YouTube channel. Right, I said, because, you know, you just never know. Any day, you know, you can wake up and these channels can be gone or whatever the case may be, right? So I wake up the very next day And lo and behold, my YouTube channel, where I was a partner, where I was monetized, making all right money, paying $10 a month for YouTube Premium, no violations whatsoever at all, no strikes or anything like that, and my fledgling growing channel gets shut down. So I do an appeal, right? I do an appeal, and the appeal gets stricken down, but at the same time, this is when YouTube came out with a new policy to where their policy was a little bit more lenient, or I assumed it to be more lenient on how they would treat content creators. Now, the thing is, you had to have certain types of violations or whatever the case. I had no strikes whatsoever at all, and YouTube just totally deleted my channel. And then, to be petty, they went the next 3 or 4 days in a row and they started deleting other channels that had nothing to do with that channel, that were basically related to other businesses, e-commerce, the Moore's Marketplace and more, the Marketing More. These were all e-commerce, legit online businesses that weren't in violation, no strikes whatsoever. They wouldn't shut down all of those channels. Said I violated policy, but there weren't any strikes. But then I'm seeing all these other channels years later as the years go by, and they're definitely violating the YouTube policy, yet their channels are still up, they're monetized, they're partners, all of this good stuff. They're able to violate all this policy, and YouTube is just letting them stay there, right? So I'm gonna keep going on. Then we come over here to Put It Out There TV, which is the channel you should be watching this on now, right? Which was a channel that was already set up and established, so they didn't strike that one down. And just about a month ago, I ended up getting a community strike on racism. It's crazy. So the video was a historical and educational video about a letter that was written from a Ku Klux Klan leader to Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. And what was so important about the video, outside of the historical significance, is that the video was also based on etymology on the word black. And in that particular letter that the Ku Klux Klan member had written to Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam, he said, "Why are you mad about us calling you the N-word when the N-word is literally just Latin for black? It's the same word." It was a very logical question. So when I read that in that letter, that prompted me to do a video on the subject matter of history and etymology, which of course is nothing more than educational, and showing people the etymological origins of the word black and how it does in fact go back to the very offensive N-word. That's all I was doing. So this video was over 2 years old, right? What do you know? One day I get up and YouTube strikes me, and they say they moved the video because it's pretty much allocating for racism, advocating for racism, right? Now you have to understand, my community is usually my people who look like me, those who have been branded Negro, Black, Colored, and African American by the colonial powers. That's usually who my content is geared toward, and it's nothing, against anybody else, but that's usually who my content is geared toward, right? So I filed an appeal. I guess you could say a technical appeal, but it really wasn't an appeal. I went in to specifically tell YouTube that I find it quite strange that you're talking about this video is advocating racism when you already have something called YouTube Black, and historically and legally we can see that the word black goes back to the times of slavery, and if slavery is over, you should be dealing away with slavery names. Therefore, if you are still identifying people with names that were placed on them by slaveholders 200, 300 years later, you yourself are nothing more than what they deem as being a racist, and you are peddling to us with this whole YouTube Black stuff. Stop. So I just called him out. It wasn't one of those things where I'm asking for you to put the video back, because it's like, whatever. I'm trying to be more independent in the first place, have my own platform, my own website. I really don't want to have to. I always tell people, YouTube is just a wrench in my tool belt. It is not the main course for me, and I'm not going to allow it to be the main course for me, right? So basically, they're trying to You have no right to step out of line, YouTube, and tell me how I can communicate with my people. You don't know my people. You don't know my plight. You don't know our culture. You're sitting there, you're watching from the side with your algorithms, and somebody that don't know nothing about us, or if they is us, they're so outside of what we got going. They're strangers to us. Stop it. You shouldn't be trying to regulate how we speak to each other. You obviously don't comprehend that, and there was no reason for an educational video to be stricken down. Whatever, but that's YouTube for you. So this is just me doing, letting you guys know that I have experienced the unfair reality of YouTube's practices, how they enforce their policies unfairly on certain people, but they won't enforce them on other YouTube channels that are obviously very painstakingly obvious in violation of the YouTube policy. So I kind of felt like this is one of those situations to where, you got the one person that's been molested or raped or victimized, and the one person comes out, and then the next person. So I felt empowered that I needed to come out. And again, I know that I'm a very small YouTuber, and probably what I say doesn't matter and people aren't going to care, but I think we need to get this on the record so YouTube can see that they are being called out by the people, and they really don't care. Let's just keep it real, y'all. YouTube don't care, but I just wanted to make a record of this. I know YouTube don't care about my people. I know YouTube just panders to my people, and I don't even expect YouTube to make any changes whatsoever. I have very little faith in the human beings that are operating YouTube. You can just look at how things have been going over the last 4 or 5 years. I have very little faith, and I got another video I'm gonna do for y'all, but that's all I wanted to talk about, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. If y'all have any comments, questions, or concerns, or outbursts, please leave them in the comment section. That's what it's there for. And if I have time to respond, I most definitely will. But me, I am an octopus with 32 tasks on my hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Peace and love.